All right. Assalamu alaikum. This is Brother Rashid, and we are going to continue our discussion on entertainment's war on family values. This is session 4. All right. Yesterday we had some technical issues, so I was able to post session 3 this morning. So I put that on Mashallah's Facebook page, so you should be able to see that. All right, and we're going to get started. All right, so that we can start on time and be respectful of the people that came in. All right, so let's start off with the Fatiha. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Ameen. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, all praise be to Allah, the cherisher and sustainer of the worlds, most gracious, most merciful, master of the day of judgment. Thee do we worship, with thine aid we seek. Show us the straight way, the way of those on whom thou hast bestowed thy grace, those whose portion is not wrath and who go not astray. All right. So the people that have joined us on Zoom, can you hear me? Just want to check to make sure everything is good. If somebody can just give me a yes or a thumbs up, that would be good. All right. So we're going to start right off from where we left off in part 3. All right. So we looked at this towards the end of part 3. So this is a game called Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And I just want to show you a couple of scenes from a couple of these video games so that you can see exactly what your children are consuming. All right. So this is a scene from this video game.
Remember, no Russian. Up the stairs. Go.
So these are the types of images that we're exposing our children to. Now they're playing these games, and it's a first person, as you can see, it's a first person perspective. So the children, it's like they're going in and they're shooting these people, okay? And we're wondering where all of this violence is coming from, okay? But let's look at another scene. This is from the video game Grand Theft Auto. And in this video game, the children can do all sorts of things, all right? They even carjack people. They carjack people. They meet up with prostitutes, and the prostitutes perform sexual acts. And we're paying our hard-earned money for our children to be exposed to this. Like I talked about before, it's like the vampire.
I'm listening, son.
Okay, the vampire it's these things that we are bringing into our homes, sucking the morals and values out of our homes, right? So now let's look at this scene, all right?
Of course I won't let you down. Please know that I really appreciate your confidence in me. I know this is a big deal.
No.
Look at this. This is what we are allowing our children to be exposed to. And all of this senseless violence that we have going on, it plays a big part in what's happening in society. So it's very important that you monitor what your children are watching and what they are playing in these video games. All right, so now here is a piece that we started to discuss last time, and it says celebrities who won't let their kids watch their work. No matter how much they love the film or a TV show they made, endless celebrities have gone on record in interviews or talks or on talk show appearances as refusing to let their children watch their work. Things might change when their kids get older, but for now, these celebrities' children have no idea why they're famous. And if the celebs have anything to say about it, it's going to stay that way. All right. So we talked about one of them last time. Here's another. This is a couple. All right, Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard freeze their kids' viewing habits. All of the stars on this list won't let their kids watch their own films, but celebrity couple Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard go further with it, banning their children from watching any television at all. Granted, the kids are very young, born in early 2013 and late 2014. However, as Bell acknowledges, they are at the perfect ages to be absolutely obsessed with her starring role as Princess Anna in Frozen. So, unfortunately for the two young girls named Lincoln and Delta, Bell says the two have some time to wait before they get to watch that or any film, and likely don't even understand what it is she does for a living yet. So it's all right for your children to watch this stuff, but they won't allow their children to watch it. So that has to tell you something. Does anybody, it seemed like somebody was trying to make a comment. Anybody want to say something?
Yeah, it seems as though again, a law has put every human being, they know the difference between right and wrong, even before there was any religious scripture recorded. Right. The human being is already ingrained into our DNA. We know the difference between right and wrong. Even a little baby knows, a little child knows, when something is wrong. So of course, they know what they're doing is not right, some of the things, and they don't want their kids to see it. But again, since they're reaping monetary benefit from it, they're going to go ahead and do it anyway and not care who else is affected by their work.
Right. So
and also, it also reminds me of even like when the Cain and Abel story in the Quran, when he killed his brother, and right away he knew he did something wrong.
So excellent point, Brother Nassim. And also you have to look at it, when a child comes into this world, they're innocent. They learn this world through their parents and the environment. All right. And this elite, they understand that. And that's why they want your children at a young age so that they can indoctrinate, okay, into this system. All right. So let's move on. All right. Let's look at this next actor. This is an actor, and I know you've probably seen him before. All right. And this guy, he says, this is William Macy. He's the star of a show called Shameless. And if you've ever seen this show, the show is horrible. Horrible stuff on this show. But our children have access to it, and a lot of us are consuming this stuff. All right. So here we go. It says, there is wonderful educational stuff on video. Our issue is that television itself is too powerful. That image is too overwhelming for a little kid. I think the longer we let their minds cook, the better. So a lot of them, of the celebrities, talk about how the TV kind of fries their brain and stops their educational growth. All right, here's Madonna. Okay, Madonna says TV is trash. My kids don't watch TV. So they're letting you know, they know something that the masses don't know. All right. Here she is in an interview with Larry King. All right. This is an old interview, but I want you to hear what she says in this interview. So I'm going to take this to the 4-minute mark. All right. So here, we're going to start this here.
A child is pleading for something.
So she's talking about her young daughter. All right.
Because you have to, I mean, you have to have discipline. You have to teach them discipline. You have to show them who's in charge. If you give in to them every time, they're going to run your life. Come on, Larry.
Isn't it hard not to, though? Truth. Especially when you get a little old. I don't mean 38 years old.
I'll give in when she says she wants a piece of sugarless gum, okay? Then I'll say yes. But, you know, she can't watch TV, and...
She can't watch TV?
No. She won't be watching this interview.
Why can't she watch? She can't watch.
Because I don't want her to get addicted to it. Kids get addicted to it. They become mesmerized. They stop using. No. There's no Barney in her life.
No Barney?
No. Mm-mm.
That's like mean.
No, it's not. I didn't watch TV when I grew up. She likes to read. She uses her imagination. She's very verbal. She has an incredible memory. All those things I don't think she would have if she watched TV all the time.
Do you ever feel when you see Barney or...
All the things she won't have if she's watching TV. Interesting of what she's saying here.
Hear about him that you're depriving her? I'm only kidding.
No, I don't get it. That big purple thing? I don't get it.
Neither do I. It's a big purple thing.
Is it a purple thing? Right, I can't remember.
Yeah,
Is it a yellow thing?
Purple.
No, that's Big Bird. Okay.
We'll be back with more.
So it's very interesting, like I said, that they won't allow their children to watch things even like Barney. And that thing of Frozen, that movie was so big and popular, and all the kids were watching it, but the person that made it, that participated, was an actress in the movie, said she wouldn't allow her children to watch it. Very interesting. Anybody want to make a comment?
Yeah, brother. Yeah, assalamualaikum. This is
Islam, good brother. How are you? What's your name, good brother?
Wonderful, Dante.
Dante, go ahead, brother. Dante, you wanna add something?
Yeah, I was thinking about like, you know, in our families, right? Our family, we come from Christian families, and you know, it was a thing with my mom, you know, not having my children have Christmas. You know what I mean? And, you know, and she was, you know, she would like badger me, like, why would you not give them Christmas? You had Christmas. And I was just like, well, you know, we have Eid, right? And, you know, my children don't go without their necessities, you know what I mean? So it's like, they don't know that they're missing something other than when they come into contact with, you know, their little friends or whatever. But we explain to them that, you know, we have Eid. So it's never been a thing for my son to not have Christmas, because he always had everything he needed. And then, you know, we had Eid where he would get gifts. So it was like, you know, and to hear Madonna say what she's saying, it's like, you know, you have to be a parent. You have to provide that structure and discipline, even though it may seem, you know, hard, or, you know, that you're being a bad parent, so to speak, but you know why you're doing it, especially when the most impressionable years are from 0 to 6.
Right.
So,
absolutely. Great point, good brother. And the thing is, it's funny because the Quran, you know, some of our parents, you know, there's a verse in the Quran that says, where people are saying, well, they were going to follow the way of their parents, you know, and Allah says, even though they were devoid of wisdom and knowledge. And the thing is that if you think about it, you know, a lot of the things that we're into, it was because it was passed down by our parents and their parents and their parents and so on. But we have to remember that our ancestors in this country were here as slaves. So they were given everything.
We weren't even allowed to pass down.
Right.
Right.
But the things that they wanted them to pass down, and that's their indoctrination. So the thing is that, you know, Allah, you know, kind of addresses it when he says, you know, even though they were devoid of guidance and wisdom. So it's very, very interesting that you said that. Great point. Loved it. All right. But now let's look at another celebrity. All right. This one's name is Helen Hunt. All right. And I'm going to play this up to this 2-minute 28 mark, but I want you to hear what she says. Very interesting.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to get this lovely woman and a fine actress, Academy Award winner and a director and a writer. She can do it all.
Everything.
Yeah. She is an Academy Award winner, an actress, and a writer. She can do it all. She has a new film. It's entitled Then She Found Me, and it opens Friday in selected cities. Here's the lovely Helen Hunt, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. I mean, I don't want to put any ideas, but we could, I mean, you know, that's a thing right there. Boy, you look lovely, and this has a little sheen to it. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Those pickup lines would work on me.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Is it? She's napping.
Napping right now?
What time is it? She's napping. I've been good.
Tell me about your daughter. She's close to 4?
What time is it? She's napping.
Napping right now?
Right now. Shh. Don't wake her up. She still naps, and if it's up to me, when she's 17 and a half, she'll be napping, yeah.
But is she about 4? Is that right? 3 and a half?
4 very soon, yeah.
Would you have a big birthday plan for her? What do you do for the birthday?
We keep it very minimal at our house. She's never seen TV or a movie ever yet, so I don't know what she thinks I do.
So she doesn't.
She says strange people put makeup on, and I leave, type a little, talk to some guy. Maybe.
She's never seen you in any kind of TV.
She's never
film?
seen any TV ever.
Wow.
So we'll see, like, we'll drive by some picture of, you know, Nemo, and she'll say, "Oh, a fish." I'll say, "It's Nemo."
Right.
What do you mean Nemo? I'll say, "Well, it's Nemo." She says, "It's a fish." Well, they named him Nemo. They named every fish.
Yeah.
No, this very special fish got to have his name.
See, now you raise an interesting point here, because I admire the idea to protect the child from the onslaught of
people like you and me.
Protect the child from people like you and me. Deep. All right. This is very deep, y'all. And you have to hear what they're saying. Go ahead. Somebody was trying to say something. Go ahead. Somebody was trying to speak.
You're told on his stuff, and you know you know the whole wrong.
Brother Nassim, your audio is breaking up a little bit, Brother Nassim. Can you say that again? Can you repeat it?
Using my phone. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's still a little echo.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I was just saying, that just goes again to show that the soul knows when it's wrong and when it's doing wrong, and he just spoke it.
Right. But now this is we'll go about the 2:28 mark. Here we go.
Exactly.
I'm no dummy.
Exactly.
He doesn't need anything from
yeah. But at some point, the worlds will collide.
Yeah, they will someday. But for now, you know, we'll be at the park, and there's another birthday party going on, and the guy in the Elmo suit shows up. How do you explain that to a kid who's never seen TV?
That's right.
Is it a dog? No. Is it a large red bear? I don't know. Why its voice is so high? What's happening?
A large red bear.
So very, very interesting points that we've seen in these 2 interviews. All right. But now let's move on. All right. And I put here the dangers of television programming. Sin is being normalized through this system's television programming. Our vices are being normalized through this television programming. And that's what it is. See, children do what they see. All right. And we as adults also do what we see. All right. And I'm going to show you a couple of interesting things that let you ponder on as we move on. All right. But now here we go. And I think this is very interesting. All right. So this is, and I'm going to try to put that up there. All right. This is Netanyahu. This is from 2002. All right. And I want you to hear what he says in this article. It says Netanyahu basically said, U.S. should attack Iran with TV. A former Israeli prime minister Thursday called upon the United States to effect regime change in both Iraq and Iran, prescribing a military invasion to topple the government in Baghdad and the transmission of ribald television programming via satellite into Persia, where he said the influx of pop culture would prove subversive to the conservative Islamic regime. Citing the hundreds of thousands of satellite television dishes in Iran, Benjamin Netanyahu told the House Government Reform Committee that the United States could incite a revolution against the conservative Iranian clergy through the use of such Fox broadcasting staples as Melrose Place and Beverly Hills 90210, both of which feature beautiful young people in varying states of undress, living glamorous, materialistic lives and engaging in promiscuous sex. This is pretty subversive stuff, Netanyahu told the committee. The kids of Iran would want the nice clothes they see on those shows. They would want the swimming pools and fancy lifestyles. Very interesting. So he's talking about using television as a weapon, because this is a weapon that's already been working against the masses here and all over the world for a long time. All right. Now let's look at that word subversive, because he used the word subversive. The word subversive, tending or intending to subvert or overthrow, destroy, or undermine an established or existing system, especially a legally constituted government or a set of beliefs. Okay, so he was talking about using television to attack their Islamic beliefs. Okay, very, very interesting, because through television, they could change society easily and rapidly. Okay, anybody want to make a point before I move on?
I mean, didn't Malcolm X say, he who controls the media controls the world?
Right, exactly.
I mean, so I mean, it just makes sense. I mean, and it's what's playing out in our narrative in America. Right. So it absolutely will work in anywhere, because it has worked in America.
And I'm glad you brought up that point, because Malcolm also said, if you put the education of your children in the hands of your enemy, your children will become your enemy.
Absolutely.
So the thing is that we have to look at it not as the white man being the enemy, it's the system. Mm-hmm. The enemy is the system. And this is not man's system. Mm-hmm. This is Shaitan's system, mm-hmm. which he whispers into the ears of these elite, into the ears of these people that affect what goes on in this country. All right. So here we go. Let's move on. So I found this very interesting, right? Because Netanyahu is a Jewish guy. All right. And it says, the strongest among men in enmity to the believers wilt thou find the Jews and pagans. And nearest among them in love to the believers wilt thou find those who say we are Christians. Because amongst these are men devoted to learning and men who have renounced the world, and they are not arrogant. Very interesting point that Allah brings up in the Quran. But now what I want you to see here, because when you talk about some of the things that's going on television, I want you to see this clip. This is from the TV series called Scandal. All right, we're going to talk about this a little bit. All right, but watch this clip.
Olivia Pope. And all this time, I thought I'd never have to meet you.
Ever take a bribe in this office?
No, Miss Pope.
Trade votes for campaign contributions?
I don't break the law.
I'm sure you don't, but here we are. So what did you do?
Here you all thought you had a problem. You don't. It's being handled by the best.
Ears to the ground, people. Let's work our sources. Do you want your career to survive?
Of course I do.
Then let me do my job.
Haven't you heard the rumor?
You're having an affair with Olivia Pope. I am not having had. Don't limit me with words. Something happened. Tell me you don't want to hear from me.
How's your pregnant wife?
I am angry that you're behaving like a traitor to your country.
To my country or to you?
Get away
over her!
Melly.
Get over her!
Are you back? Yes.
Scandal starts Thursday at 9, new and
Now, who's seen this show before?
I have.
You have, okay.
Yeah.
That's brother. Can you pronounce your name for me?
Dante.
Brother. Hey, brother Dante. Assalamu alaikum, good brother. All right. So what do you see that was going on in this show?
I mean, that's a lot to unpack. I mean, I mean, because you're right. You have the leader of the free nation involved in in an affair with a woman, and it's like really in his wife's face, right? It's almost like it's almost like the Clintons, right? Because it was a Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton scenario just brought into the 2000s, right? And but it's being normalized, right? That they're making it so that even though we know it's wrong, that because they have such a strong love for each other, that bond, that it almost is like, we all know it's wrong, but we're kind of like, man, we're glossing over it as a significant thing, you know what I mean? Because of the entertainment value of all of the other things that the show offered,
Excellent point, good brother. Excellent point. But that's what I wanted you to hit. The thing is that here they are. They have an adulteress as the hero, right? And they're glorifying adultery. All right. Now let's look at the synopsis of the show. It says here, she worked as a media relations consultant on Fitz's campaign. Her professional relationship with President Fitzgerald Grant III led to an extramarital affair, which she had intended to end after Fitz's inauguration into office. After he won the election, she became his assistant for communication, also known as the White House Director of Communications. They continued their relationship, but just as they revealed their feelings to each other, Olivia realized that Millet and Fitz's wife was aware of the affair. Olivia then resigned from the White House and formed Olivia Pope and Associates. So this is one of the storylines on the show. Now, let's look at this, because I want you to see this, because this is very interesting. Then they come out with this thing called Ashley Madison. All right, this was out. It says Ashley Madison is a social networking service, ashleymadison.com. Description: Ashley Madison or Ashley Madison Agency is a Canadian online dating service and social networking service marketed to people who are married or in relationships. It was founded in 2002 by Darren Morgenstern with the slogan, "Life is short, having an affair." So they are going against Allah's guidance. Whether you be Muslim, Christian, or Jew, they are teaching you to go against the guidance of the Creator. And the more and more we step away from Allah's guidance, the worse this society becomes. All right? Each year, it seems as if we move more and more away from the correct morals and values that Allah has given us. Okay? Let's move on. Ashley Madison, continue. Ashley Madison, they said, is available in these languages. Look at all these languages that this sinful website is in. Chinese, Czech, Danish, Dutch, English, Filipino, Finnish, French, German. So this is worldwide. This is worldwide. Life is short, have an affair. It was their slogan. Here's one of their commercials.
It's morning again in America. Today, more men and women will choose a different path than ever before. Divorce rates have nearly been halved since the 1980s. This afternoon, around 6,000 people will be married, and nearly 20,000 people will join Ashley Madison today. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or Democrat. At Ashley Madison, we believe in a bipartisan approach to life. Just because you've walked down the aisle doesn't mean it's too late to cross the aisle.
Did you hear that?
Wow.
Life is short. Have an affair.
And I don't know why they're making a differentiating between a Republican and a Democrat, because it's all the same. That's just the illusion that you have choice. But the thing is that this is the type of stuff that's out here, y'all. All right, here's another. Let me just show you one more. And Allah talks so much about the importance of marriage. Okay, but these people are pushing, against Allah's laws and Allah's guidance. They're pushing against the instruction manual that was given for us to live here peacefully on this earth. And that's why we are not at peace, because we're doing everything against the guidance. All right. So here we go. Watch this.
Yeah, that's true too. And if I'm gonna say if that's true too, and if you look at all the major religions, like the three, those commandments all are the same for the most part. You know what I mean? It's one law.
And you hit it. You hit the nail right on the head. It's all one guidance, and it is man who has divided it up and made these differences. Okay, when Allah promised Adam guidance, he was promising him Islam. All of those prophets were Muslims. It tells you right there in the Quran. Prophet Abraham or Ibrahim was a Muslim. Musa was a Muslim, or Moses was a Muslim. Jesus, was a Muslim. Isa, he was a Muslim. So the thing is that when Allah told Adam that guidance would be sent to him, it was that guidance from Adam all the way to Muhammad. And all of it is Islam. Okay? Here we go. So, this is the second commercial. All right, here we go.
I'm looking for someone other than my wife.
The lyrics, I'm looking for someone other than my wife.
These people crazy.
These people, these people are insane. Go ahead, good brother.
Yeah, for me, it's like, adultery is something that is supposed to be shameful, right? And the fact that they are so bold as to make something that is shameful, a thing that we all should be doing and should not care about, the impact that it has on the family and those relationships. It's just like, it's disgusting almost, like, for them to be so bold with it.
Well, see,
you know what I mean?
Right. But see, you have to consider a mind of a person who doesn't believe in Allah or doesn't believe in God. They're capable of anything. They're capable of any and everything. All right. So here we go. Let's finish this one up.
Other than my wife, Ashley Madison's right. I'm looking for someone other than my wife. Other than my wife, Ashley Madison's right. I'm looking for someone other than my wife. Other than my wife, Ashley Madison's right.
But this is what we are facing. This is what we're up against. All right. But now, here we go. This is from the King James Version of the Bible. Exodus 20, verse 14. Thou shalt not commit adultery. And for the various reasons that the brother said, all the harm that it brings to the family, and those individuals in that family, Allah shows you the harm in it. Okay, but now let's move to this next verse. This is from the Quran. This is from sort of Bani Israel, or the children of Israel, chapter 17, verse 32. Nor come nigh to adultery, for it is a shameful deed and an evil, opening the road to other evils. So anything that Allah is telling us not to do, they're pushing for you to do it. And this is throughout their programming. Throughout their programming. They're teaching us things to go against Allah's guidance. Okay? Now, here's another verse from the Bible, which says, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. And when you look at covet, to wish for earnestly, to desire what belongs to another, inordinately or culpably. All right. So now let's look at some more of these lessons that this system is trying to program into not only our youth, but us. All right. This is from a movie called Breaking In. All right. This was Gabrielle Union. This was in 2018. But I want you to watch this trailer because this is very interesting.
I know this is not how you wanted to spend your weekend, but guess what? Me neither.
She was supposed to see your boyfriend.
Whatever, he's not my boyfriend.
Then why did he make you a playlist filled with sex songs?
Oh my God, shut up, Mom.
A whole playlist.
You grew up here?
Why are you selling it?
That's what you do when someone passes away.
Check it out. Fully automated security system. Windows have retractable shields. This place is a fortress.
I guess some people get paranoid in their old age. What were you trying to hide, Dad?
I just want to say again how sorry I was to hear about your father.
I just want to make it through the weekend and come home.
Mom? I swear to God, if you're hiding something.
What do you want?
We want something in the house.
I will do anything to protect my kids.
Do exactly what I say, or you and your kids will not survive this night. Do you understand?
Yo!
She's gone. Find her.
She took out the lights.
She's smart. But we have her kids. Now, she's desperate.
I'm just a mom. You have no clue what I'm capable of.
She's in the house.
This isn't gonna work. You're done!
You know this. Broke into the wrong house.
So if you saw this movie, this woman was Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, all rolled up into one. I mean, she was doing it all. You saw how she was hanging on to the banister and all of that, right? But now, this is a scene from the movie. I want you to see this. I want you to really think about it. All right. In this movie, this is where her husband comes in. Right? So they were being attacked by these home invaders throughout the movie. And then the husband finally comes, you know, after the wife has done all of these amazing feats. But let's see what happens to...
No. No. Justin, no, baby, no.
Sean? Sean!
No! Justin!
Sean! Sean! Open the door! Open the door! What is going on? Open.
It's been a hell of a night. So, where are the keys?
Who are you?
So in this movie, when the husband came in, he was totally useless. Totally useless. And this is the idea that they are putting into the minds of the masses. And you have to pay attention to it. They are pitting the male against the female. Okay? And they're making it seem as if, especially Black men, are useless. Okay? Watch the programming, y'all. And even in these Disney cartoons and live shows that they have, they make both parents seem useless. Either they make them dumb or they make them, or they're not there. Okay? But it's very interesting. Anybody want to address this point? Wait a minute, let me show you this and then we'll address that point. It says, this is one man's observation. He said, Hollywood and the mainstream media delivered the message to mothers in America. Get out and get a job and then work your way up to become the boss. That was the beginning of the end of the American family, as this nation has known it since its inception. It was also the start of a new social war, the New World Order waged against nature and the creator's laws. Hollywood's caricature of female characters with male attributes. Clearly, that's no coincidence. It's gender profiling by the New World Order boots on the ground. Hollywood and the media, female roles are being given masculine attributes, while the male characters are portrayed as subordinate or effeminate. That's crazy. I summed it up. It's like trying to play God and change nature. Anybody want to respond to that?
Diabetes. He got that stuff in the backyard and hear you and your diabetes.
Anybody want to respond to that?
Yeah, I think it's like you see a lot of movies, you know, like the European movies with the Romans and the kings and queens and all that fighting. And the men were always the protectors of the nation. And you're right. And now you see these movies today and men are emasculated, or, you know, especially the Black men. You see, you know, the wife goes out and gets the food, and that Pizza Hut commercial, the wife goes out, she you know, she comes back and she's like the superhero, and he looks at her and she, you know, she goes back to being like a normal person. He's like, what happened? And she was like, I just went and got pizza. And then he's like, no, what just happened? You know, he just looks like a chump, you know what I mean? And then there's that other commercial where they go to sell the car and the man sitting on the passenger side, right? I hate that. And then, you know, he's like, you know, I wanted to have a bubble bath and, you know, cook some dinner. And this, you know, while she's out doing the, you know, the negotiations of this for the sale of the car. And then she gets in the car and, you know, she sold the car and he's like, oh, okay, great, honey. Like, well, where were you as a man in the whole process?
Right.
And it's a Black man with a white woman. So like, that's another dynamic that you see on the commercials. Everybody's interracial now. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just like, that's another thing. Like, I don't know.
And no, you're absolutely right. The thing is, there is an agenda being pushed forth. And one of those agenda, well, that might be too heavy for right now, this presentation, in terms of what I want to show you. So let's move on. I'm not going to touch that yet. Hopefully we can do something again. We can go through some of it. All right. But here we go. Now let's look at it. Any of the sisters want to address anything that's been said so far? All right. Okay, so I'm going to move on. All right, so now I want you to see some of this. All right, this is from the movie Network.
The bottom line is that the government is getting...
I'm sorry, this is a clip from the documentary Zionist.
...what they have ordered. They do not want your children to be educated. They do not want you to think too much. That is why our country and our world has become so proliferated with entertainments, mass media, television shows, amusement parks, drugs, alcohol, and every kind of entertainment to keep the human mind entertained, so that you don't get in the way of important people by doing too much thinking. You had better wake up and understand that there are people who are guiding your life and you don't even know it.
We're in a lot of trouble because you people and 62 million other Americans are listening to me right now, because less than 3% of you people read books. Because less than 15% of you read newspapers. Because the only truth you know is what you get over this tube. Right now, there is an entire generation that never knew anything that didn't come out of this tube.
And you think about it. Our youth, a lot of our youth, this is all they know. And the thing is that they spend more time with television and the social media and the phones than they do with their parents. So we're not passing on our values to them. They are mainly being bombarded by the messaging from the school and, like I said, these other forms of media, okay? And they don't know anything else other than what these things are feeding.
This tube is the gospel, the ultimate revelation. This tube can make or break presidents, popes, prime ministers. This tube is the most awesome goddamn force in the whole godless world. And woe is us if it ever falls into the hands of the wrong people. And when the largest company in the world controls the most awesome goddamn propaganda force in the whole godless world, who knows what shit will be peddled for truth on this network. So you listen to me. Listen to me. Television is not the truth. Television is a goddamn amusement park. Television is a circus, a carnival, a traveling troupe of acrobats, storytellers, dancers, singers, jugglers, sideshow freaks, lion tamers, and football players. We're in the boredom-killing business. But you people sit there day after day, night after night, all ages, colors, creeds. We're all you know. You're beginning to believe the illusions we're spinning here. You're beginning to think that the tube is reality and that your own lives are unreal. You do whatever the tube tells you. You dress like the tube. You eat like the tube. You raise your children like the tube. You even think like the tube. This is mass madness, you maniacs. In God's name, you people are the real thing. We are the illusion.
And this system knows what they have created. It is the greatest indoctrination tool ever devised. All right. Anybody want to respond to what you just heard? All right, so I am going to move on. This is a man named Alan Watts, and I want you to hear what he says about television. He says, never watch the television, as it was advised by a CIA agent. All right. Check this out.
Now, I also mentioned too that a fellow that has been in touch with me for an awful long time, his brother was in the CIA, or is in the CIA. He will never talk about the CIA to him. He'll never give anything away whatsoever, except one bit of advice. He said, never watch the television. Never watch the television. It's the greatest scientific indoctrination tool ever devised. Haven't you figured that out? It's changed the whole culture of nations, not just one nation. Why do you think it was mandatory that everybody in Britain give access to televisions by the government? Why do you...
So think about it. Think how around 50 years ago, the homosexuality was seen as totally taboo. But now through the television programming, they have normalized it. And if you look at some of the titles, like you get, there was a show called The New Normal. You had a show called Modern Family. So they were telling you and programming you that this is the new normal because these shows contain homosexuality. And almost every show you turn on, you see homosexuality, especially in the on the Black television shows. And what people don't think about is that, okay, people can live the lifestyle that they want, but these people, the elite aren't worried about these people's sexual orientation. What they're looking at is genocide, because homosexuality is a form of genocide. And one of the goals of the elite is to reduce population. So if I turn you against your natural mate, you will not reproduce. Okay? And this is what people have to start thinking about.
Do you think China is under the same program to get everyone to the TV right now because they love to have you entertained? Do you really think that? And India is on the same route as well right now too. Most of your ideas and your opinions and how you emulate, because you emulate things, you mimic what you see. As Charles Galton, Darwin and others have said in the past. It becomes you, you become it.
It becomes you, you become it. These ideas are being programmed into us.
And that's what's happened. It's been very, very, very successful. Never watch the television. You can't watch a movie unless you do it critically. If you watch it critically, not there to enjoy it. Remember what they say, it's your emotions that get you on. And it's interwoven, all these emotional themes all through movies. You're played like a harp. And they embed ideas into you, along with the movies. And predictive programming too. So you'll accept that which is still to come. And you'll behave the same way as the characters in the movie when it comes. Oh well, what can you do? I'll just watch much music or television. Yeah. You're given a mind of your own, and you've got to use it for yourself. And believe you me, if you ever had a nation or wanted a nation, you'd have to make sure that everyone took their turn. Everyone took their turn. Just like jury duty, to go in and oversee the guys that are supposed to be taking care of everything on your behalf. It's a tight club right now. It's been like that forever, because they never intended to give you anything called democracy, or, in fact, a republic. Gangs and fraternities run the systems of the countries. That's how they're run. And under taxation, and it's true what Marx said, and it's true what Lenin said, about that part of it, all wealth comes from labor. And tax is...
All right, so I'm going to stop this here. Anybody want to comment on anything that we just heard? All right, so I'm going to move on to this next thing that I want you to see. All right, this is from a movie called My Dinner with Andre. All right, so here we go.
Well, why do you think that is? I mean, why is that? I mean, is it just because people are lazy today, or they're bored? I mean, are we just like bored, spoiled children who've just been lying in the bathtub all day, just playing with their plastic duck, and now they're just thinking, well, what can I do?
Okay, yes, we are bored. We're all bored now. But has it ever occurred to you, Wally, that the process that creates this boredom that we see in the world now may very well be a self-perpetuating, unconscious form of brainwashing created by a world totalitarian government based on money, and that all of this is much more dangerous than one thinks, and it's not just a question of individual survival, Wally, but that somebody who's bored is asleep, and somebody who's asleep will not say no? See, I keep meeting these people. I mean, just a few days ago, I met this man whom I greatly admire. He's a Swedish physicist, Gustav Bjornstrand, and he told me that he no longer watches television, he doesn't read newspapers, and he doesn't read magazines. He's completely cut them out of his life because he really does feel that we're living in some kind of Orwellian nightmare now, and that everything that you hear now contributes to turning you into a robot. And when I was at Findhorn, I met this extraordinary English tree expert who had devoted his life to saving trees. Just got back from Washington, lobbying to save the redwoods. He's 84 years old, and he always travels with a backpack because he never knows where he's going to be tomorrow. And when I met him at Findhorn, he said to me, "Where are you from?" And I said, "New York." He said, "Ah, New York, yes, that's a very interesting place. Do you know a lot of New Yorkers who keep talking about the fact that they want to leave but never do?" And I said, "Oh, yes." And he said, "Why do you think they don't leave?" I gave him different than our theories. He said, "Oh, I don't think it's that way at all." He said, "I think that New York is the new model for the new concentration camp, where the camp has been built by the inmates themselves, and the inmates are the guards, and they have this pride in this thing they've built. They've built their own prison, and so they exist in a state of schizophrenia, where they are both guards and prisoners, and as a result, they no longer have, having been lobotomized, the capacity to leave the prison they've made or to even see it as a prison." And then he went into his pocket and he took out a seed for a tree and he said, "This is a pine tree." He put it in my hand and he said, "Escape before it's too late." See, actually for 2 or 3 years now, Chiquita and I have had this very unpleasant feeling that we really should get out. And we really should feel like Jews in Germany in the late 30s. Get out of here. Of course, the problem is where to go, because it seems quite obvious that the whole world is going in the same direction. See, I think
seems as if the whole world is going in the same direction. And that's all a part of what we call this NWO, or this New World Order, or what they're calling this Great Reset.
it's quite possible that the 1960s represented the last burst of the human being before he was extinguished. And that this is the beginning of the rest of the future now, and that from now on there'll simply be all these robots walking around, feeling nothing, thinking nothing. And there'll be nobody left almost to remind them that there once was a species called a human being with feelings and thoughts, and that history and memory are right now being erased, and soon nobody will really remember that life existed on the planet.
Deep. Anybody want to respond to that?
I mean, it's hard for me like to keep my mouth shut after seeing something like that. I mean, it's almost like, it's only because we Muslims that we, for me, I can speak for self, that like
I don't know.
I see all of what he described, playing out on a daily basis, right? And I watch TV, I have, the technology, but I have a balance. I strike a balance because I do understand that those things they have their use case, but I also I only use them as the tools that they are, and not get, as the masses, so connected to those things that you feel like that you need them. I could do without without checking my phone every couple of minutes and whatever, because I really don't care. I could care less. It's just a tool, right? But I do see exactly what he's described in Ready Player One, like where people are wanting to just be out inside of a fake reality, because they don't want to live in their reality, because the reality that they're living is not what they hoped or expected, and they don't really have faith to know where they should be, spending their time and their energies. Right. You know what I mean? So that they won't be robots and doing everything that the masses are doing.
Right.
But yeah, this is a very powerful dialogue.
And the thing is that, there's this reality or this illusion, and then you have the true reality, Allah's reality, that people can't see. They can't see because they've been blinded by this man's system, or should I say by Shaitan's system, which goes on and on, because Allah has given him respite. So he has time to lead people away from the path, and a lot of people can't see it. And one of the reasons why they can't see it is because they're not properly being taught. I watch a lot of these young Muslims at school, and they're dressed up. It's almost like Halloween. It's like they're just dressed up as Muslims because they know nothing about Islam. And we have to teach our children, because our children are our most valuable resource. especially if we are trying to change what's going on. All right, so let's move on because I want you to see this. There's a lot of stuff I want to show y'all. This is a scene from the television show The Walking Dead. And they had the evolution of man, right? And I peeped this. This is very interesting. So they show the evolution of man, right? Because as they say, from an ape all the way going to manhood, but then the last stage being a zombie. And that's what a lot of people are. It's like they're the living dead. They can't see what's going on. And they played with this in this show, showing the last stage of human evolution as a zombie. The Walking Dead. Dead mentally, dead spiritually.
You're dead morally.
Dead morally, right? Great point. So the thing is that, you know, there's a lot of stuff that's going on television if you have the vision or you have the lens to see what's going on. But most of us don't do what Alan Watts suggested, which was when you watch television, watch it critically and analytically. But even as you do that, it still can get into your subconscious. And the thing is that, like, I look at myself. A lot of times, in years prior, when that homosexual scene came on, turn it off. But now it's becoming so normalized that I'm able to see something like that for a few minutes more. So it's like, wait a minute, what's going on? What's going on? Because everything is becoming normalized because they put it in all of the television shows. But like I said, especially the Black television shows, because we are the ones, that they are attacking the most. All right. And there's a reason behind it. All right. But let's move on because I want you to see this. I want you to see 2 quick clips. All right. So here's the first clip. 30 seconds.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jacqueline Walters. I've been a practicing OBGYN for 23 years. When my patients ask me whether they should get vaccinated against COVID-19, I tell them yes. If you're trying to become pregnant now or plan to try in the future, you can get a COVID-19 vaccine. There's no evidence that any vaccine, including COVID-19 vaccine, causes fertility problems. I send my patients to the CDC website to get reliable information at www.cdc.gov.
All right, so now you heard it, right? So here we go. Let's listen to this next one.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katia Castillo, and I have been practicing OBGYN for 26 years. When my patients ask me whether they should get vaccinated against COVID-19, I tell them yes. If you're trying to become pregnant now or plan to try in the future, you can get a COVID vaccine. There is no evidence that any vaccine, including COVID-19 vaccine, causes fertility problems. I send my patients to the CDC website to get reliable information, cdc.gov.
Did you notice anything?
I mean, it was the exact same message.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Two different people.
2 different people, and that's because they're reading from a script.
Right.
All of this stuff is scripted. Okay? They made it seem like, oh, these people were speaking from the heart, from their own perspective, but it was the same script. Okay? And watch this.
It's been a long year
where it's been anything but normal.
And now there is hope. The COVID vaccines.
But it's been a little confusing. I mean, really confusing.
So it's more important than ever to make a plan. Visit planyourvaccine.com
to find out when and where to get your vaccine.
Roll up your sleeves and plan your vaccine so you'll be ready when it's your turn.
Watch.
It has been a long year now where it's been anything but normal.
Well, now there's hope. The COVID vaccines.
I know. It's been a little confusing.
Like really confusing.
So it's more important than ever to make a plan.
Visit planyourvaccine.com
to find out where and when to get your vaccine.
What are you waiting for? Roll up your sleeves
and plan your vaccine.
Plan your vaccine so you'll be ready when it's your turn.
So again, the same exact script, right? These two, both of them had the same exact script. So I grouped them together. So you can see that they were saying the exact same thing. All right. So this is a game, y'all. This is a serious game that they're playing on the masses. All right. Here's another one. All right. I want you to see this. Oh, wait a minute. Got somebody in the waiting room. All right. Here's another one. So they're showing you that these six media has never been more consolidated. 6 media giants now control a staggering 90% of what we read, watch, or listen to. So you see GE and the things that they own, and News Corp and Disney, Viacom, Time Warner, and CBS. All right, and Disney, they just had a meeting where they had the executives talking about how they were pushing a homosexual agenda. All right, they were caught, and if you look at the previous two presentations, previous three presentations, I think it's in the second one, but where I showed the clip of when they were talking about how they were pushing a homosexual agenda. But here we go.
Was the second one.
It was the second. Oh, thank you, good brother. All right, so here we go.
Who are you really shopping for this holiday season? It's okay, you can admit it if you've bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself.
Well, it's okay, you can admit it if you have bought an item or 2 or maybe 10 for yourself.
It's okay, you can admit it. You've bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself.
It's okay, you can admit it if you bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself.
The same exact script through all of these different news channels. It's insane, y'all. Insane.
Okay, you can admit it if you bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself.
It's okay, you can admit it if you've bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself.
It's okay, you can admit it, Todd. If you bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself.
It's okay, you can admit it if you bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself. It's okay, you can admit it if you bought an item or 2 or maybe 10 for yourself. It's okay, you can admit it if you bought an item or 2 for yourself.
It's okay, you can admit it if you bought 1 or 2 or maybe 3 or 4, maybe even 10 items for yourself.
It's okay, you can admit it if you bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself.
It's okay, you can admit it if you bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself.
It's okay, you can admit it if you bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself.
It's okay, you can admit it if you bought an item or 2 or maybe 10 for yourself.
So many stations, they had to speed it up so they can get them in.
Maybe an item or 2 or 10 for yourself. It's okay, you can admit it. If you bought an item or 2 or 3 or 10 for yourself. It's okay, you can admit it. If you bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself.
It's okay, you can admit it. If you bought an item or 2 or 10 for you.
It's okay, you can admit it.
If you bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself.
It's okay, you can admit it. If you bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself. It's okay, you can admit it. If you bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself. It's okay, admit it. If you bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself.
It's okay, you can admit it if you bought yourself.
So you can see that they control your perception. And it's just stuff that's repeated over and over again. The same script throughout the country. Okay. Here we go. So let's move on. So the media. The definition of media, the means of communication as radio and television, newspapers, magazines, and the internet that reach or influence people widely. So this is the definition of the media. Then we look here and it says the people will believe what the media tells them they believe. And that was from the book, that was from George Orwell, all right, the guy that wrote the book 1984. The people will believe what the media tells them they believe, right? Now, here we go. I want you to listen to this woman with the pink sweater on. I want you to listen to what she says, all right? Listen carefully. In this little clip, they are talking about Donald Trump. All right, but I want you to hear what she says.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I hear. What Yamiche just said is what I hear from all the Trump supporters that I talk to who were Trump voters. and are still Trump supporters. They go, yeah, you guys are going crazy. He's doing, what are you so surprised about? He's doing exactly what he said he's going to do.
Well, and I think that the dangerous, edges here are that he's trying to undermine the media, trying to make up his own facts. And it could be that while unemployment and the economy worsens, he could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think. And that is our job.
Yeah, if you look at the issues.
So did you hear what she said?
Yeah, the hypocrisy, right?
Right, but not only that, she actually stated that it is their job to control what people think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which is very interesting because she just plainly out and said it. It is the media's job to control what the masses think so they can shape and control your perception and control your reality. Now, when a person can control your personal outlook on things, they got you. They can control you. So this was a very important statement that she released that she probably wished that she didn't say. But that is the goal of the media, to control what you think, to control your perception. All right. This came from a documentary called The Brainwashing of My Father. All right. And it's very interesting, some of the things that they brought out. This is just one thing from it. It says, the people read or get any other form of, like television, people do that more than anything. It says the reason people are lazy. With television, you just sit, watch, listen. The thinking is done for you. As a result, more than half the people now say that they rely on television for their news. 8 out of 10 say they tune in to radio or TV news at least once. Okay. So, but it's very interesting because if you think about it, people don't really think when they're watching television. They're in this relaxed state and they're not really thinking. They're just absorbing what is being pushed out through the media. All right. But now I want you to see this because I found this very interesting. All right. But watch this situation. This is from the Today
But
Show.
first, the severe flooding here in the Northeast as more rain continues to fall today.
So they're talking about, this severe flooding that happened. All right.
NBC's Michelle Kaczynski,
It's so bad that the woman was in this canoe.
I guess she's in the canoe, is in Wayne, New Jersey this morning.
Hey, guys.
Michelle, good morning to you.
Good morning. Well, obviously we're getting a nice break from the rain, but not the flooding. This is essentially now a part of the Passaic River in this neighborhood. It rushed in yesterday through the streets, and it's really tough to control a canoe or a boat when you're out in it. It's much deeper back there because this is really...
Actually, Michelle, I'll take it. Is there some kind of severe drop-off
Matt.
there between the foreground? We'll go back. We saw these guys a second ago, Michelle, walking. Are these holy men walking on top of water? What's going on here?
Why walk when you can ride?
So do y'all see this? They try to make it seem like, it was this severe flooding, but then we got two men just walking around.
Not even 6 inches above the ankle.
Right. But now, had not these men walked past, we would have believed that. Right?
You guys, when you have a ride like this, why would you want to walk?
Have you run ashore
But,
yet?
well, they wouldn't let me go back into the deep water because they were afraid I would just drift out.
Strange piece of video there, Michelle.
Is your oar hitting ground, Michelle?
Of course not.
Okay.
All right,
It's
Michelle.
as smooth as silk.
Michelle, thank you very much. That's Michelle Kaczynski.
But see, they just laugh it off. Right? So it's very interesting what this media is capable of doing. And it's funny because it made me think about this. It says, the best laid plans of mice and men often go awry. The best laid plans of mice and men often go awry, meaning no matter how a project is planned, accidents or misfortune can still happen within it. And a lot of times it's Allah leaving us breadcrumbs to lead us back to truth. because a lot of times, these people slip up, and it's meant for them to slip up because Allah gives us, he's blessed us, and he's, given us, like I said, breadcrumbs to lead us back to the path of truth. Okay. But now what I want you to see here, this was a news broadcast. I'm just going to show you the first few scenes of it. All right. Let me do this real quick. All right. And the name of the sequence was Nurse on a Mission to Find Anti-Vaccine Myths as Measles Outbreak Grows. All right, so this is about back in 2019. They were talking about the measles pandemic that was starting up. All right, but watch this.
Tonight, America on track.
I want you to look at these scenes, all right?
Back for its worst measles outbreak in 25 years. 90 more cases in just 1 week. Public health officials.
So now, I'm going to show you this. This was a part of that. This picture went along with those other images that they were showing of the children with the measles. And they showed this shot of the baby, all right? And they had a longer news segment on YouTube showing, talking about this story. Now, the one I just showed you, it was much shorter, but the other one was like maybe about 8 to 12 minutes, all right? And it included this scene. And you can see it, that it's from that news story. It says, it's the same title, Nurse on a Mission to Fight Anti-Vaccine Myths, all right? And then it has here, Nurse Battles Vaccine Myths as Measles Outbreak Hits 555 cases. Now, this picture was included, like I said, but isn't this the same picture?
Mm.
So what they did in this news story, they took a shot off of the internet and they doctored it to make it look like the child had the measles. And the thing is that if it was this big measles outbreak, then all you had to do is show it a child that had it. Why do you have to go on the internet and get a picture and doctor it up?
Mm.
It's the same picture. You see? So these people control our perception. Like the lady said, it is the media's job to tell you what to think. All right? So you got to be very careful with the games that they play. All right? Now, the next thing I want to show you real quick. This is Adele. This is her speaking. All right, check her out.
Hello. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about a new technology that's affecting famous people. Remember when Obama called Trump a dipshit?
Complete dipshit.
Or the time Kim Kardashian rapped?
Because I'm always half naked.
Or when Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonated himself?
Get out of this, the bomb in there. Get out.
Deepfake? Deepfake? Deepfake.
Gotta be kidding.
This is a deepfake too. I'm not Adele, but I am an expert in online manipulation.
So now we have to be extra careful with what we believe with our eyes. Because now they have a technology called deepfake. And they can make it, they can mimic a person's voice to the T and cover and put another person's face on top of that person's face. And they call it a deepfake. Okay? So we have to be very, very careful. Because with this technology, they can create all kinds of narratives. Okay, here's another. This is Richard Nixon. So he wrote a speech just in case the mission to the moon failed. All right, but check this out.
The men who went to the moon to explore in peace will stay on the moon to rest in peace.
So they were able to create a deep fake to go along with Nixon's speech that he made just in case the moon mission failed. okay? And this is a deep fake they created where with Nixon's face reading this alternate speech.
The men who went to the moon to explore in peace will stay on the moon to rest in peace. These brave men, Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin, know that there is no hope for their recovery. They also know that there is hope for mankind in their sacrifice. There will be more.
So you can see how deceptive these people can be now using technology, okay? Anybody, any thoughts?
I mean, I guess, again, all you really can do is, trust the law in some of these instances and trust your instincts and not, not watch TV, right? For factual information. If you know that, knowing what we know now that you're showing us,
Right.
that we have to be more critical with what we see and kind of, ask ourselves, is this, I mean, first off, how does it impact me, right? To know, right? And then secondly, if it does, how should I perceive this and what do I do with it? Because, you don't want to go down a rabbit hole and kind of spiral out of control, right?
Right.
But it's just amazing where we are with technology.
Right. All right. So we only have a few minutes left. Got about 8 minutes left. So I'm going to show you this last piece. All right. And I'm nowhere near finish this presentation, but let me share with you this last thing. All right. So I want you to watch this, a short clip.
New this morning at 4:30, more gunfire has capped a busy night in the city, including the shooting death of a 16-year-old boy.
And that gunman remains on the loose right now. This shooting happened just before 10 o'clock in the 3700 block of South Albany. Police say a 16-year-old boy was shot to death in a drive-by. The victim's identity has not yet been released.
Meantime, 2 teenagers are wounded on the city's south side. It happened at East 74th as an 18-year-old man and 16-year-old girl were hit while standing on the sidewalk. The male's in good condition while the girl's expected to recover. And kids on the street as young as 4 were there to see it all unfold and had a disturbing reaction.
No, I'm not scared of nothing.
When you get older, you gonna stay away from all these guns?
No.
No?
No.
What do you want to do when you get older?
I'm gonna have me a gun. Because I live right here.
All right. So what did you think about that little boy and what he just said?
I mean, it doesn't even seem like he should have the intellect to be able to talk that way. So, it really, so in light of what you just showed us, I almost feel like that could be something that could be doctored. But if it's not, it's an indication of how, he has been impacted by the environment that he's in, that he is just so callous, as to what his reality is. That's insane for a child to, to feel like that, but I mean, that's his environment.
All right. Anybody else? All right. So.
And I don't want none of my family members to get shot.
That is very scary indeed. So far, no suspects are in custody.
Well, that's why I like to hear.
So now let's see the whole interview. Because brother, you were right on it. Listen to this.
Yeah, you ain't scared of nothing. Damn. When you get older, you gonna stay away from all these guns?
No.
No?
No.
What do you want to do when you get older?
I'm gonna have me a gun.
You are? Why you want to do that? You know what happens when
I'm gonna be the police.
Okay, well then you can have one.
So now, now what do you think about
A whole different narrative.
it? Exactly. This is what I'm talking about. So they can manipulate us and control our perception of reality because they can edit things and make us believe their narrative. Now here they are making this poor little boy look bad, but yet he was saying that he wanted to have a gun because he wanted to be a police officer to help stop things like this from happening. But they turned him into like, oh, he's this little thug that wants to have a gun to shoot and kill people. All right, but now we'll let
the
him
first
finish
question
up.
is whether they had the parents' permission, of course. And then to hear that the boy aspires to be a police officer, and that's what he meant when he said, I'm going to have me a gun, and that they didn't include that is disturbing. As somebody who's a former journalist, like many past presidents of the NAACP, it's important to tell the whole truth, because when you tell half the truth, you're in effect lying.
All right, so we are going to stop the presentation there. I'll see if I can talk to the imam, and maybe we can do another session out of after Ramadan. But I thank you all for coming out, and we'll close out with Surah Al-Ikhlas. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad, wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Ameen. All right, so I'm going to put up my contact information in my YouTube channel. So if you want to see any of the things that we did in the past, you can check them out there. There should be over 100 videos there now. But yeah, that's a way that you can contact me, my email. And like I said, the YouTube and BitChute and Dailymotion platforms all have, some of the presentations on there. But you have been a wonderful audience. I appreciate y'all for participating. And if anybody have any questions for me, we have got 3 minutes left. Anybody want any additional things they want to say?
Brother Rashid, I just want to, thank you for all of this work, because I mean, it is very, just bringing it to our awareness, because I know I don't have the time to do what you do, and I'm not skilled in that area. But also, I mean, I've shared, your YouTube with, with several friends, because it's just so powerful that we don't know, these things that are being done to us subconsciously, so those last 2 I had to share. It was that powerful.
Oh yeah, all praise is due to Allah.
Absolutely.
And I thank you, good brother. And the work inshallah will go on. So, and the sad thing is we haven't even scratched the surface.
Mm-hmm.
I told the sister, it might be the sister, might be here, she might be here now, but yeah, we haven't even scratched the surface yet. So yeah, this stuff gets very deep. Like I said, this is over 20 years of researching things, and I'm telling you, it's interesting. Every time you open up something else opens. Allah has left us these breadcrumbs, and it's just up to us to find them. And it's like the parts of a puzzle. You're grabbing a piece here, grabbing a piece there, and you're bringing it all together. And you can see, Allah, giving us guidance to help us deal with this system. So alhamdulillah, I appreciate you and those people that came out, and may Allah help us with what is to come. So with that, I guess we can close it out. Let's see.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, good brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Anissa. Take care.
Alaikum assalam.
All right. And Sister Fatima. Assalamu alaikum.